Assalamu alaikum, namaste, sat sri akal and good day. You are listening to Awaz Community Radio. Your host for today is Saira, and today we have Sabeena Khan in the studio. So if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us on awazradio@hotmail.com or log on to our website www.awazcommunityradio.com. You can ring us on 0161 839 7857. We're on Facebook. Just type in Awaz Community Radio or tweet us Awaz Radio 122. Thank you for listening to Awaz Community Radio. Your host is Saira, and today in the studio we have Sabeena Khan. Thank you for coming in, Sabeena.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you in because we'd like to hear all about your new book.
Yeah, definitely. Something that a lot of people are talking about and hopefully saying all the right things. The book is called Kadam, and Kadam means steps. Kadam is the first book of its kind to hit the UK shelves. It's available in your public libraries. It's available at the universities, in colleges and in schools. Freely been donated by myself because I want to create awareness for the objective of the book. It's the first book of its kind. It's written in 4 languages. So it's written in Urdu, English, Punjabi and Roman format. One thing that I would like to mention to all our listeners, the role of Roman format and how important it actually is. Being a British Asian, we are mostly conversant in our other language, which can be Urdu, Punjabi, Gujarati, Bengali, Hindi. But many people are not literate in it. And when we're not literate in a language, it's actually classed as a dialect. So Urdu, Punjabi, unfortunately for British Asians, is leaning towards becoming a dialect whilst it's not in literacy format. So if we can get it in literacy format, which is by using the use of Roman format, Roman script, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the English phonics, if we can use that, then we can upskill ourselves and we can get our work into a written format, and then we can get it more mainstream. We can start using it more. Allama Iqbal said, "Magar wo ilm ke moti kitabe apne aba ki." And what he means by that is the values that you can learn of wisdom from generating knowledge through education. Education through books. On the 9th of November, I officially launched my book, which was again called Kadam. And the reason why I chose this day, 9th of November, because officially it was Allama Iqbal Day. So hence the language which comes from Pakistan, a place which Allama Iqbal was the visionary founder for. So hence that's the reason why I chose the selection of that day. A quotation comes to mind that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and when it paused, remember it started from a single raindrop. So I found great honour in the selection of the choice of that day because it was officially recognised internationally as Honorary Allama Iqbal Day. अफराद के हाथों में है अक़वाम की तकदीर, अफराद के हाथों में है अक़वाम की तकदीर, हर फ़र्द है मिल्लत के मुक़द्दर का सितारा. That in your hands lies your nation's fate, and every individual is the bright hope for the nation's fate. So never stop that learning and upskilling yourself, for your wisdom can only make you wiser once you find a way of channeling it. Now, the way that I found of channeling it was through writing, and my book is Poetry and Philosophies. Now, someone said to me, oh, so if you're a poet, what's your objective of your work? So I explained to them what the objective of my work was, but verbally, and then they said, well, actually, no, should it not be in poetry form? So I thought, okay, well, go on then, I'll put it in poetry form. So I wrote a poem, and this basically sums up the objective of what my work or what my objectives are about. अब ज़ुबान की कदर आएगी, अब ज़ुबान की कदर आएगी जब जकरे जाओगे मगरिब की ज़ंजीरों में, फिर अपने वतन की याद आएगी तो लौट के वो वापस आएंगे और नस्ल मुश्किल में पड़ जाएगी कि वो जोर कमज़ोर हो चुका होएगा, पैसों की पट्टी चढ़ गई होएगी, गुर्बत से नफ़रत अब तो आएगी, कोई सब्र ना हो पाएगा, बच्चे वापस मगरिब के घर तक भागेंगे, वालिदैन बड़ों से माफ़ी मांगेंगे और कुछ खून के आंसू रोएंगे, मजबूर होकर अब सोचेंगे कि इस फासले को दूर हम कैसे करें, प्यार मोहब्बत कैसे बढ़ाएं, बच्चे फरमोबरदार कैसे करें, मशरिकी माहौल कैसे बनाएं. फिर ज़ुबान की कदर आएगी, फिर ज़ुबान की कदर आएगी कि क्या हमने खोया है, फिर अगली नस्ल को हम समझाएंगे, ज़ुबान की तालीम और अदब हम सिखाएंगे, इसे अपना हथियार बनाएंगे कि वो नस्ल फिर हमें मिलाएगी और मशरिक़ ले जाएगी. तभी पुरखों को सुकून आएगा और नए सिरे से उम्मीद जागेगी, नए सिरे से उम्मीद जागेगी, मशरिकी ज़ुबान अपना असर छोड़ जाएगी, अब ज़ुबान की कदर आएगी. तुम्हारी तहज़ीब आप अपने खंजर से ख़ुदकुशी करेगी, शाख नाजुक पे जो आशियाना बनेगा नापायदार होगा. The beautiful words of Allama Iqbal, that your civilization will commit suicide with its own dagger. The nest built on weak branches will not be permanently stable. This can be said for the current state of society in the light of the loss of language that we're suffering and the impact that it has on our tomorrow. The use and benefits of the Roman format Urdu, it's not a new concept to the British society. Dated early 16th century to the current day 21st century, it can be seen to be in use. But the absence of the Urdu language for British Asians further adds to the identity crisis that the British Asians face and address without support from either the UK or their native country. The concept of Roman format is an ideal form of communication which aids the literacy skill for a British Asian, enabling them to immediately put into writing to the strength of their speech using the Roman script, which is phonetically spelling out the Urdu language. This format can be applied to a number of Asian languages and many others, providing that the Roman script supports the sound of the language that is in question. For it is better to aid and upskill rather than to face the emerging trends of loss of language furthermore. So for those intellectuals that oppose the use of Roman format, arguing that it deters the individuals from learning the original script, I detest this and suggest that if the original script is used alongside the Roman format of the language, not only are you aiding the learner to demonstrate their conversant skills in writing, but furthermore, you are increasing their interest into the original language script, as the more they are putting into practice their written skills and recognition is also built up. Now, the Roman format acts as an aid to bridging the learning gap that British people are facing when acquainting or learning new languages. And it is common practice the use of Roman by both for a teaching and a learning perspective, as well as communicating with such language speakers in a political, commercial or social medium, but no weight is given to the knowledge demonstrated by one using the language in assessments or for communication purposes. This has led to ignorance towards the use of Roman format for learners of the Urdu language for British Asians. This is one of the reasons that will hold back the British society in further gearing ourselves in our native language skills which we so richly possess. Now, the fourth generations of British Asians are adding to the UK society. From the Asians, we amount to approximately 60% of those are British Asian and 40% of them are migrant Asians. Now, we've got 1.2 million Pakistanis in the UK and 60% of them are British Asians, 40% of them are migrant Asians, and as you can see, as this 60% over a period of time is going to be on the increase, the 40% is going to be on the decline, unfortunately. And as it declines, we are losing those people that hold four aspects fully of the language: the written, the spoken, the understood, and the reading ability. So before we are in that total loss where we've lost the people that have got the strong links, then we urge people to come out from those communities, whether they are parents, our elders, respected people from the community, to come out and help this integration process for our language to build up. Between the British Asians and between our migrant native migrants from abroad, so that we can use our language to its full strength. The Urdu language was the language that the migrants were of. Therefore, this was the first home language that the first generation British Asians became conversant to, and this language both in understanding and speaking. Then in the later years, for those that were Muslim, through the learning of the Arabic script, through the reading of the Quran, we became familiar with the Urdu script furthermore, which wasn't far from the Arabic script, given a few characters of the script, allowing for different sounds and grammar usage. The familiarization of the Urdu script through the Arabic script gave way for several uses of the language to further your interest in written format, either at the mosque or at primary schools where interest group emerged. However, high schools only offered GCSE Urdu where they saw a majority of the students were strong speakers of that language, and it became an easy GCSE to pick up alongside others. With the first generation of British Asians, in some cases, were getting better grades in GCSE Urdu as two elements of the language spoken and understood were already assumed as prior knowledge. In the later years, as the generations progressed and the language skills declined, resulting in this trend changing, now the current reality suggests that if the strengths of the British Asian are in the English language from all perspectives, as in language, literature, culture, and its associated lifestyles, then they become alien to the beauty, benefits, and associated cultures and lifestyles that the Urdu language would possess. This trend stands out to be addressed because the amount of time allocated to the teaching of a second language is minimal in comparison to compulsory subjects of English. Plus, the method by which Urdu is taught in the UK relies on delivery through literature rather than language and literature. So no support groups or teacher associations are in existence that can support, standardise and address the teaching of Urdu in the UK to British Asians. There is a great need for shared resources, especially when Urdu holds a significant position as being the fourth most spoken foreign language across the globe internationally. So as I was saying, there is a great need for the shared resources, especially where Urdu holds a significant position as being the fourth most spoken foreign language across the globe internationally. Now in this 21st century, the UK society is seeing its fourth generation of British Asians and sadly the decline of their mother tongue, to which British society alone cannot support and assist in its development, rather through optional subject choice in secondary school, after which the onus falls upon the individual to generate an interest in the language and to tap into the existing programs, courses and events that may promote the development of the Urdu language and culture. The burning question is, how many people, how many British Asians would further this interest? And is that response good enough for us as a Pakistani society, bearing in mind that losing the language will inevitably make British Asians lose international links in the upcoming near future? This emerging trend and decline can be halted by creating awareness of the Roman format script and immediately upskilling existing language skills held, both spoken and understood, by British Asians, to make them start using the Roman format script to communicate in written format with other Urdu speakers. If the Roman script starts to see its way into mainstream literacy form, i.e. print media, digital media, formal, informal usage through Facebook, emails, chat, MSN, texts, which already does exist, then firstly, the existing language skills would have been upskilled and to be put into practice in the wider society, aiding the development of Urdu amongst and for British Asians. Secondly, this draws the individual closer towards the original script through everyday association of language. When both scripts are used alongside each other, it aids the individual to have flavour to its language and increased recognition of the script. So the ultimate goal of Roman format would be to aid the user to become literate in their spoken and understood language despite not being able to communicate using the original script. The added value would be one of upskilling and inclusion for all Urdu who have Urdu as a language. The book Kadam supports and promotes and introduces the use of Roman format for British Asians as a British Asian myself for the 21st century.
सवर ले मुझे अपनी बाहों में सवर ले मुझे अपनी बाहों में
Thank you so much for that, Sabeena. So can I ask, can you read and write Urdu?
I can't actually, not to the strength that anybody will benefit from it. You know, I can probably. I remember when I used to be at school, because obviously I'm British born, yeah, and I went to a local school here. I went to Levenshulme High School, and we had a fantastic Urdu teacher, who's passed away now. But we used to read these books, and they used to say, Tommy school ja raha hai, Tommy ye kar raha hai, Tommy's doing this, Tommy's doing that. And when I went to Pakistan, there was no association with Tommy. I was looking at stuff and my nanny saying, what are you doing? I can't see anything, any of those words that I learned, any of those things. I can't really see that in Pakistan. Well, obviously that wasn't going to be evident. But, you know, the resources that we had, it led me to believe that the resources that we were using, they weren't standardized, and they were just they were put together. No one really concentrated on the delivery of language, of how British Asians are going to learn this language now, which our parents, fortunately enough, knew, because they were born in a country where they had this, where that was their language. So now they've taught it us orally, because at home that was the language that they used to speak. So children have picked up the language, but unfortunately we've not been able to pick up the written skills. We've not been able to pick up the written skills. So no, I can't really read and write much in Urdu. But a strong message. I mean, I was speaking to quite a lot of Pakistani people along this journey. I've benefited a lot from speaking to a lot of Pakistani natives and getting a lot of their experience and just their knowledge of the language and the country and the culture. We see language as in a very different light to the way they see it. Yeah, because obviously that when you live and breed a culture like we live and breed English, because this is our main language, it's very different to somebody who is learning English. So in the same way as we're learning Urdu, is very different to the way that they're learning, the way they know it. Behind the books, the textbooks in Pakistan, they have inspirational quotes, and somebody told me that all of the books say that the children use in schools and stuff. Sabak par phir sadakat ka, shujaat ka, adalat ka. Sabak par phir sadakat ka, shujaat ka, adalat ka. Liya jayega tujhse kaam duniya ki imamat ka. And it's such a powerful message of language and education that the nation was constantly was drummed into them, because it was embedded into their curriculum books behind the textbooks. And what it means is, learn the way of the truth of boldness and justice. Learn the way of the truth of boldness and justice, for you will be the leader of this world. So it's creating leaders.
That sounds really deep. And so that was in all textbooks? That's
behind all the textbooks.
Well, I can assure you that none of my textbooks had anything half as inspirational as that, really.
Yeah. That, a lot of it. And when I look at inspiration, I mean, that particular quote there was something from Allama Iqbal, and a lot of people don't know a lot of history. I mean, I myself didn't before I went on this journey of writing the book and stuff. The fact that in 1940 we had like the resolution of Pakistan in 1938. Earlier on, Allama Iqbal had a vision of the creation of Pakistan. 1940 saw the resolution of Pakistan. 1947 saw the establishment of Pakistan through the hands of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And the Urdu language was again a language that was borrowed from the Arabic script. Yeah, and it was the language and the script and the wordings and things like that were put together from ulama, from a great divide from Hindustan, from the Hindu Sanskrit people, and also from the Maulvi people, so the people with the Islamic knowledge, and that's how the language was put together, the Urdu language. So again, because it stems from poetry, has quite deep roots in poetry. A lot of Pakistanis are familiar with poetry because behind all their textbooks and behind all their lectures and quotes and inspirational values that teachers embed into students, a lot of things is done through poetry. like little short stories. Like we can class the poetry to us is like little nursery rhymes that we know, that inspire us, that build hope into us, that teach us things about the system.
You're listening to Awaz Community Radio with Saira, and today our guest is Sabeena Khan.
चाहत में डूबी मेरे दिल की उम्मीदें मदहोश ये फिरती हूँ उनकी तस्वीरें यार कोई गिला नहीं मुझे कुछ मिला नहीं यार कोई गिला नहीं मुझे कुछ मिला नहीं
Thank you for listening to Awaz Community Radio with your host Saira, and our special guest today, Sabeena Khan, promoting her book. And actually, the teasers you've been listening to, the musical ones, are actually you, Sabeena. You're singing. So you don't just write poetry, you sing as well.
Yeah, well, basically what I done was I turned my poetry into lyrical format, because I thought when you're going to be delivering language, when I'm going to be trying to explain to people the use of Roman format, then I need to have something audio for us to go off. And I couldn't really think of what kind of music or what kind of other people's work that I'd want to use with issues of copyright and things like that. Then I just thought, well, I'll create my own. And it's an element of creativity, and the lyrics are at the back of the book. And there's 3 tracks that I've done in 5 versions. There's a Nachda Kamal, which is a banger track, and it's in Punjabi. And then there's Akeli, which is like a sad love song, and it's I think any lady, any individual will be able to associate themselves with this, and it's quite motivational as well. And then there's another one which is called Savarle, which is probably Again, it is motivational as well, because like I said, the lyrics came from the poetry that I wrote. So I tried to keep a momentum going of a certain theme. Yeah.
Well, I think it's fantastic. So we've got not just a poet, but a singer in the studio.
Yeah, his bathroom singing exposed.
Not at all. It sounds really great. We've had that playing in the background while we've been doing the show. So what's kind of inspired you to write your book? What kind of led to this book happening and the music happening?
Yeah, well, basically, I'm come from the education field, and I've got like 17 years of educational teaching experience, because my subject is business studies and economics, which is so different from this poetry and stuff. And so, you know, when people ask me, how did this come about? I suppose as an individual, I'm quite guppy, which is quite chatty. Yeah. And I do talk about quite a lot of things. And I suppose I have my own little philosophies about things. And then I just started writing them. And I tend to use my language quite a lot, which is Urdu. I tend to use that quite a bit. And then when I started writing in using Roman format. Then I didn't think that there would be a role for this, or that it would become enough material to produce a book. I wasn't thinking of writing a book first. I was just writing, but just keeping notes of my things. And I was writing. I had random moments where I'd be driving and I'd think of something, and I'd quickly grab a pen or stick a post-it note and have it stuck up on a window, or I'd just do mad little things. And then eventually I started to collect it all together. Then I actually went to the library, done some inquiries, and realised that no one's touched upon Roman format. There isn't even a section of it in the library. So if I wanted to read a book in Urdu about other people's poetry or something, I can't even read it. Can't even begin to read, because they're not even in Roman format. So
I think that's something a lot of British Asians can relate to.
Yeah.
You know, we call ourselves bilingual, but like you've been saying earlier, we can speak it, but we can't necessarily write and read it.
And then even like after getting into the publishing of the book, and the publishers couldn't really help me. I had to do everything myself, which called for a quick visit to Pakistan, just to make sure that the Urdu that I had composed into the book, because I thought instead of producing a separate book, which is then going to be written in Urdu, just do it all in one book. So the same book is in Urdu, Punjabi, English and Roman format. So it's like one book for all, which is, again, like I said, first of its kind. So that, and I'm keeping to this format now as well in the next book, which is in publishing process at the moment. And that one's called Rahe. Yeah, Rahe means journey, or, a route.
So do you see Rahe as a sequel to Kadam?
It is a sequel, yeah.
Will there be a trilogy?
Yeah, there will. There will. There's everything in Project 1, which was Kadam, the music and the book and everything had followed a theme. The background was black, and Sabz Khan was written in gold and red. And the next one, Rahe, everything and all the material that I produce, whether it's even nasheeds or it's naats or something, I'm going along those lines as well. Everything is background red. And then the contrast is where the writing Sabz Khan is written in gold and black. And then the third version is gold, background gold, and that's called Soj. Third version is gold, and the background is, so the writing is red and black.
It sounds like you've really given it so much thought. This is a long-term project for you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I took voluntary redundancy from work to give this work some lift and give it sincere time. And
I guess it must take so much time and energy. I mean, can I just say you're a mother of 4 children?
Yeah.
I mean, how you find the time, I do not know.
Well, this is it's of interest to me, and I think that society and community will appreciate this, in the long run, because any work towards the development of language, and language is not exactly going anywhere. If anything, if we can upskill people in it, then I see that as quite rewarding. So like I said, I stepped out of my career, which is in education as a lecturer, for newer greens, for the development of language. So it's building up, and this is how I spend my time. So when I have time, that's what I do. I sit there with a pen and paper and I write, and I just shuffle things around, and my house is turning into a library at the moment.
But you're setting such a fantastic example to your children.
Yeah, the children, they do have the moments when they're like, Mom, please.
Enough books already.
yeah. But we have laugh groups as well, where we sit down as a family and we sit down with the books and stuff. And I say to my children, right, go on, read me this poem, read me this share, and they'll read it and completely distort the version, because but at the end, same time, it's encouraging them to start wanting to read in our language. And then people that have produced newspaper articles on me in Jang, Geo News, and a number of various Khabre and Usafa and different newspapers, they're in Urdu again, which doesn't really help me. I mean, it's nice to know.
Or a lot of British Asians.
Yeah. It won't help me or British Asians in reading it because we can't read the Urdu. So then the media people are kind enough to translate that, read it out to me so that I can translate it into Roman format. Then when I repost such adverts up or such articles up in Roman format, then people can appreciate it, and they do appreciate it. And the amount of likes that article gets and comments with constructive feedback is much vaster than that the Urdu script attracts, because generally if you can't read it, all they're going to do is look at the pictures and go, oh, that was nice.
That's true. It is true, and that's what you need to understand. If you can read it, then you can understand it.
Yeah. And I suppose once you can understand something, then we can delve into the cultures of it more. You can delve into the language more, and it does increase a passion or a love for your for your native country.
That's true.
Yeah, if you've got the language. If you haven't got language, then unfortunately, if you just look at a household unit, and if you have a friend or if you have a family member and you cannot speak the language, there's not really much that you can say apart from hu haji, nodding your head, gestures. There's only so far you can go with that, but as soon as you start having the conversant skills, which is probably amounts to 50%, or nowadays, the conversant skills to us before the use of Roman format is everything basically. That's how we communicate with our parents, our ancestors, our extended family.
I think what's very interesting is that this Roman format style, you see, you've put a name to it. I didn't know it was called Roman format.
Yeah.
And I see when I communicate with my Asian friends and family, then I actually am using Roman format and didn't realise it in text form.
Yeah. But this is it. My project is to create the awareness. Now, when I first started writing, I was using Roman format, but even I wasn't sure that Roman format, why is it not acceptable? Because we use it, and if we use it and it shows that we are transferring our skills into written format through using this as a medium, then why is it not accepted? Why is it not given any credit, any merit? Now, Manchester University accepted what I'd said and turned around their assessment and asked the students what they wanted to do. Most of their students who were learning Urdu on beginner programs were using Roman format, but they weren't given any credit for it. Now they're given 20% weight towards what they write in their assessments if they're using Roman format, whereas before they weren't given any.
Well, that's great that if a university like the University of Manchester is giving this some kind of, status. Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, it is very important. And it means just like it's easy for us to, being of another language, to be able to put our language skills into practice, in the same way, for somebody else coming to our language, it's that middle gap, it's that bridging gap, getting from Urdu to English or from English to Urdu or whatever that language can be, because it can not only our languages, it can be not only Asian languages, it can also be other languages. I was speaking to an MP, and he was Irish, and I said, what's your other language? And he said Gaelic, but I can't read and write it. I said, well, you can if you use a Roman script. And it makes people think, oh, actually, so if I want to say the word thumb, I will write TUM. And majority of people, doesn't matter if you can read and write the Urdu script, but if you say to someone, kya kar rahe ho? And you say, oh, you want to say to someone, here, text so-and-so this.
Yeah.
They will automatically use the English keyboard, the alphabet that we have, and phonetically sound out that language word.
It's funny to think that we've all been doing that for so long.
Yeah,
There's actually a name for it and actually can help us.
Yeah.
To sort of play devil's advocate, do you think some people fear that by British Asians like yourself and myself using Roman format, do you think some people fear the loss of Urdu in its natural form?
Yeah, I mean, I have had a lot of the older generation actually be quite critical and saying, well, you know, you're stopping people from using our language. And I said, hang on a minute. I'm not stopping them from using the Urdu script. In fact, if anything, I'm showing them a way to get to the Urdu script, because these people are not using the Urdu script then. Basically, if you can't get to it and you can't read and write it, and these people are not jumping onto courses to learn Urdu, to learn the Urdu script. We've got courses, beginner courses at Manchester University, which have just got 10 people in it. And most of those people are not even British Asian. They are they're British white, and they're using learning the language for work purposes.
Right.
You know, so they might be in the police, or they might be learning it. So they're not our community people who are looking at strengthening their own existing language skills. So therefore, is it not better to upskill them and get them using their language to make them closer to reaching the Urdu script, rather than saying, well, actually, if it's not the Urdu script, it's nothing.
So it's not so much that it's a bridge that's being torn down, it's more that another bridge is being built.
Yeah, you're building a bridge. You're
supporting original bridges.
Yes, you're adding value. You're adding value to get them to the Urdu script. Now, for those people that oppose it, I say to them that, you know, if we look at the language of the Quran, yeah, which most Pakistani Muslims will be familiar with, and this Urdu language script has lent itself from the Arabic script, with give and take a few differences in the grammar and a few characters, but mostly it is similar to the Arabic script. And when we are learning Arabic, the language of the Quran, there's no restrictions as to how you get to the Arabic script. Yeah, so when I was in mosque and I learnt my surahs, my namaz, I learnt it using Roman format. The qaida had Roman format in it to help. Yeah,
and that helped you learn how to read the Quran.
Yeah, that helped me learn Arabic. I mean, now I can read and write the Quran. You know, can read Arabic, and I mean, I might not know what it means, but you know, but I can understand the script for the purpose of reading. Yeah. Only through the use of the aid of Roman format. Had we not been given Roman format as an option, I wouldn't have been able to get that far. So in the same way, if we say that the language of the Quran is Allah language, now we're not saying that Urdu is in any way a religious language. So if in a religious language there's no prohibitions, there's nothing stopping you getting to that script. So why are we why are we closing doors to people learning language? I mean, any closed doors, any negative mind in any field, whether it's to do with education, whether it's to do with life, whether it could be to do with anything. Negative at the end of the day is negative. You're always going to get negative criticism, but that's fuel, isn't it? That's fuel to like, if I didn't get that negative criticism, to be honest, today I wouldn't be sitting here with all these answers. I got this negative criticism from the word go. So, you know, when I got it, but then I thought, no, this is not right, because this is a problem that I'm experiencing, and I love my language and I do want to understand Urdu, but Roman format is helping me. So let me find the answers why. And then I did this search, and I, you know, produce abstracts which Manchester University and Liverpool University, Edge Hill University are using, you know. I
think that's a fantastic example. End of the day, it has helped you.
Yeah.
If you know if it's helped you, it can help others.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, people are using Roman format, and they're just not aware that they're using it. So even just that, creating awareness, you know, like you said, you're using it and you didn't know, but you didn't know there was a name to put to it. Once you can put that name to it, there you go, bingo. That's the first step. That's the first step of creating that awareness. You know, that link between getting you to closer to your language. if I think about my identity and what stands out for recognition is firstly my language, followed by my culture, my religion, my heritage, and my nationality based on my background and all the associated traditions and values. But also noted is the stronger the individual is in their language, the stronger the identity links will be apparent. So there's no doubt that in order to strengthen those links, you must actively strengthen your language. ज़ुबान इंसान की ऐसी दिमागी ताकत है जो एक ही वक्त पे पिछले वक्त का इनाम हो और आने वाले वक्त का हथियार बने. Language is that mental strength that at one given time represents a trophy of the past and acts as a weapon or a tool for the future. And remember that there are years that ask questions and then there are years that have the answers. So let it be the British Asians who are the ones with the questions. And then the Pakistanis and the officials and our parents and respected elders and members of the community that are the ones with the answers. Mark Twain once said that a book which is praised is not read. So really, I'm not after that praise because I actually want people to read the book.
You're listening to Awaz Community Radio with your host Saira, and it's been so great having Sabeena Khan on the show. Really informative today. I feel I've been really learning today. So can you give us your contact details for our listeners who are wanting to know more about how they can buy your book, listen to your music, just learn a bit more as well?
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm looking at building up a web page because I think that's the current need at the moment. But basically, if you were to connect on to Facebook and you were to look under SABEENA space Khan, Sabeena Khan, or Sabz Khan, SABZKHAN, Sabz Khan, then you'll see that on that Facebook page the cover is the cover of the book, which says Sabz Khan Kadam Steps. That's one. Also, the book is available worldwide. You can buy it through Fast Publishing, who are the publishers, Cambridge Publishers. And I'll just give you the ISBN number for those people that might be interested. The ISBN number is 978 178 035 5634, and the book is priced at $12.99. Although the book is freely available in Manchester public libraries. Yeah, so if you were to give the name of the book to any library, they can get the book sent into that particular library, so they don't necessarily have to keep hold of it. But in all Manchester libraries, the book is freely donated, a vast amount of copies, so there's enough to be going around everywhere.
That, can I just say, that is really kind and generous of you to have done that, to have donated to libraries so people can read at their own leisure.
Yeah, and I mean, because the main concept is, it's not even about wanting people to buy the book to make money. It's about when you want to create awareness, you want to create awareness freely so that it spreads, because the love that everyone has for the language, it is a national heritage. It's something that we should all be proud of, and it is something that binds everyone together. It doesn't see any politics, and it doesn't see any greed or anything. I think it's something that is a national wealth. Yeah, so I definitely wanted to promote on that. Other ways of contacting.
You have a YouTube channel as well?
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel. It's under Sabz Khan, SABZ space Khan, and that's got music teasers on it. It's got the full tracks on it as well. Well, it will have shortly. And and then upcoming when I do events, like I go to Mushairas and I contribute my poetry to there, and I do little talks and speeches and stuff like that. All that's on there. All those videos are on there, and it's regularly updated by admin.
Is Facebook one of the best ways to keep in touch as to your progress? Because I follow we there's a station follow you on Facebook, and we're friends on Facebook, and you are a very busy lady and just doing so many things. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I do find that Facebook is a fantastic way for people to maintain contact. Not only that, because I also do a bit of radio broadcasting myself. So anyone that is connected up on Facebook, of what my activities are, and then I can link up with everybody and then get them to interact on other programs and things that I'm doing as well. So it just builds up the momentum and keeps people informed, because it's all about informing people and creating awareness. So yeah. Okay, and also an email address for those people wanting to get in contact. It's sabz.khan@hotmail.co.uk, and alternatively there is a work related number for people to call on. It's 0780 337 4495.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to Sabeena Khan for coming in to Awaz Community Radio.
Oh, well done. Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been fantastic listening to you talk about your book, Kadam, and and I hope that I'm sure our listeners have got a lot out of this, and I hope that they will get in touch with you soon about either buying your book or going into the library, hearing your music, and perhaps even giving you ideas, giving you a bit of feedback as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm more than willing to, be open to ideas. If people want me to come to the local areas to do little talks, to create awareness within community groups, I'm all up for that. Anything educational, anything in way of education in terms of developing literacy, developing better links with the community, even also about engaging people so that they enjoy their language. By holding little mushairas and things like that, so people are enjoying their language and creating this awareness, promoting it. It's everyone's language. Whoever owns part of heritage, another language, we should promote it.
And you know what? That's just a great way to end the show.
Yeah.
We're trying to promote a language that we don't want to lose. We love it and we don't want to lose it. So thank you so much again, Sabeena.
Thank you, Saira. Thanks.
You've been listening to Awaz Community Radio. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can ring us on 839 7857. We're on Facebook. Just type in Awaz Community Radio, or you can tweet us Awaz Radio 122, or log on to our website www.awazcommunityradio.com. For now, listeners, goodbye.